Hello, people of New World. It's me, Lamani, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're talking this big worm and how we can prepare right now for the upcoming raid in Season 2. How can you be preparing for this raid boss coming in the next few months? We are going to be looking for Beast Ward and Beastbane Bis gear. Now, I know this might sound a little simple at first, but honestly, if you start to scourge the markets on live servers, you'll find Beast Ward Bis gear pretty much for a penny, right? It doesn't cost that much gold. And so if you start to dive into it and think, okay, what could I be using just even for 2 perk items? If you look for Beast Ward Refreshing, Beast Ward Elia version, or even Beast Ward with a perk, or start to look at some of the name drop potentials, right? We look at something like Shepherd's Shoes. It's one of those brimstone drops that comes out of grave offerings. This could be a very viable option, right? Beast Ward will take Shirking Fort, get a little bit out of it, but then Vigor, especially because Fortify is going to be changing by then, and then Vigor, potentially there's poison with it. If you start to look at the worm, it's got a little big green sack on the front. Maybe there's something there, but I can almost guarantee you that this raid boss will be the first time we have any beast damage coming in the game. Think about it. We have no expeditions. We've hit every type of ward except for Beast Ward. And we've even made a brand new ward, Human Ward. So it's pretty much just in line with the current season releases. Season 1, we get a new enemy type with ward. Well, Season 2, we might as well be able to actually use Beast Ward. It's the only unusable thing in the game. And yes, they have talked about how they're going to actually remove the ward system and how they're working on changing that. But in the coming months, if you look at it, we're about 2 months or so now out from the Sandworm raid. Now, there's going to be another 10-man raid as well. But if you think about that, that is not going to be enough time to completely revamp and test their ward system, especially when they're probably intending for the raid boss to be a beast. I mean, it's a giant worm. You can't go wrong starting to at least grab Beast Ward gear that's cheap. I wouldn't say go out there and just start grabbing stuff that's incredibly expensive for thousands of gold, like 3 perk bis pieces, but if you can find things for maybe a couple thousand gold where eventually it might be worth, we start to look at some other pieces. Now, in terms of named Beast Ward gear that could just drop from enemies, you do have Lion's Paw Helmet, which is a focus con split, but you'd have to run medium because it's heavy. You have King of the Jungle that has strength, so this could be really good for a tank, although Rezel would be a dead perk at that point, but still Beast Ward Refreshing. We have Monster Slayer's Leggings. This would be Bis if you wanted to go heavy, so another tank option, has some decks there. And then there's some items like this that just aren't going to be worth it, where you're better off looking on the market, and the rest is going to be 585 or lower. So what I'm saying is it's taking a little bit of a gamble and prepping now. But if you start to look at market prices, you will notice how cheap it is to buy Beast Ward and how much is even available. So just start to keep your eyes out. Maybe on a chest run, you're finding some Beast Ward gear, or maybe on the market, you just start sniping it occasionally, and boom, free Beast Ward gear. Now, this is all, again, in the line of thought that the worm is going to be a beast. I can't think of a single other thing it would be other than Angry Earth, but at that point, you're going to be prepped for Angry Earth, and then worst case scenario, you just have some Beast Ward gear ready for whenever beast stuff is viable. But I would wager a large sum of money on it that's going to be like that. Now, when we start to look at other things, we need to think about where can we get some solid Beastbane weapons for DPS. Now, think about what does Beast take the most damage from? It's thrust. So in terms of melee, you're either going to rock a spear, and then you've got some enfeebling things you can run with that, or you can run rapiers and do a lot of bleed damage. There's a decent amount of Beastbane options here, but you might have better luck just keeping your eyes on the market. Again, it's going to be tougher to find. I would say there's a better named spear than a named rapier, but the only other thing you have to think about is, okay, I am going to be most likely playing at range because this is going to be a giant worm flying around. Could it be viable to run something like a musket? Maybe. Maybe a blunderbuss? Possibly. But I think more likely than not, it's going to be pretty viable to run something like a bow. And so when you think about thrust damage, start looking for Beastbane bows and Beastbane spears, in my opinion, or a Beastbane rapier. These are going to be your best options. It'd be better to go for a 3 perk Beastbane option that you can get as a name drop instead of spending thousands and thousands and thousands of gold for it. But again, keep your eyes out for 3 perk Beastbane weapons. So essentially, this becomes a video for gold making or even self-prepping, right? You could just be sniping any 2 perk Beast Ward or Beastbane gear that you can possibly find. I would also highly suggest looking for health nature protection amulets, because I'm going to wager a decent amount of money that the worm himself is actually going to be doing some kind of acid damage or a acid dot, maybe even running arboreal conditioning pieces with Beast Ward if you really want to spend the gold crafting things, could be a really solid raid piece. And so I would imagine, just because, they're out in nature, that it would be dealing nature damage. Now, another thing I want to show quickly is that there is this one thing on NWDB, Sandworm Cannonball. Could this be absolutely nothing? Probably. But could this mean that there is a cannonball mechanic for the Sandworm boss? I don't know. I think it's a potential. It's on the PTR version. It is also on the live one. But I think that this could be saying, hey, be ready for some kind of mechanic where you've got to shoot cannonballs in the sand or something like that, where you're going to get the worm to pop out so that you can actually fight it. I just wanted to get this out there, get some knowledge out there, maybe prep and give you all a little bit of an opportunity before season 2 hits, because it's going to be here sooner than you are going to think. So I hope you didn't think this was too much of a meme video, but I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And thank you to every single one of you beautiful people for being you. Peace, peace, peace. Bye, bye, bye. I love you all.